live, so you have to press all these things to say, I got it, I got it, I got it. Okay, let's have a look. Who is in the house? Diamond Smiles, I haven't seen you for a while. And Lindy Lou Corny Poo, I do love your name. Connie and Joan, welcome. Wow, I don't know how many of our usuals will be able to visit us, but I'm hoping that some will. I've had an eventful morning. I burnt my hand here. I was cooking an egg, and I was just trying to separate. Oh, there's 2 eggs. Trying to separate them as you do, so that you can dish them up. And it went like that, like splattered, and burnt my hand. So yeah, ouchie. Sharon, woo woo, and Kerry. Hi guys. It's been ages since I've done a live stream where I just talk to you and not sit there making the blanket. It's been ages. I've kind of forgotten how to do a normal live stream, but I'll try and remember. There's a little bit of a delay with getting here because I had to go get a drink. At least I did remember the drink. Have we got someone else come in? Hannah! Woo woo! So how are you all? What have you been up to? I did my morning chat thing and had some deliveries of DIY goods and burnt my hand. That's my morning. I did a little bit of crochet before. I was catching up on doing some of this so that I can get it finished and do a tutorial, because really this was just me refreshing my memory as to what I did on this, because this is a wrap and it's one of my favourite wraps, and every time I wear it people say, oh, have you got a tutorial for that? And I always have to say, no, not this one. I just kind of freestyled it. Should have written it down as I went, but I didn't. So I took it, I didn't take it apart, that would be silly. But I constructed it again using my eyes and kind of visually remembering sort of thing what was next. So here we are. I'm going to do finally a tutorial for it. But I also have to do a tutorial for my other one, which is this one. And oh, it's so soft. I just love that yarn so much. So yeah, I've got to do both of them. So that's one of the reasons I started this one. But I should have done the tutorial for the other one first. Would have done, but I've been ill. I had an awful kind of bug that completely wiped me out. All I did was sleep for a couple of days. I suppose it was good to catch up on it after I missed out on it. Oh, hang on. Susanna, hi. Which yarn do you love? Which one? This is the one I love, but obviously I bought this from the States. And I wish at the time that I'd got more. I absolutely love it. And I don't think I can get any more of it. It had a weird name, the colour. It didn't bear any resemblance to what it actually was. But then a lot of these don't, you know. I can remember having some mandalas once, and I really loved this mandala. And when I looked, the name was Gnome. Gnome. Yeah. Didn't look anything gnomish to me. But it was, I made a huge blanket out of gnome. Beautiful stuff. Hi, Tiffany. You made it. Woo woo. And Newfie Grandma Creates. Hello. Good to see you all. So, yeah, it's actually nice to have a live stream where I can not look at you because I can't see you, but you know what I mean? And I can talk. Whereas I've been just, just doing this for the last goodness knows how many of them. I will still do those making Gary's blanket live streams because I haven't finished it, so I do need to get it done. I'm trying very hard to catch up on all the things that need catching up with, though. That's one of the drawbacks to being ill as well. I was doing really well, like promoting my business, because as you know, many of you know, hobbyrocks.co.uk is my business, and I was doing really kind of well. Then smack bang, straight back down to zero, sleeping, doing nothing, and having to sort of build yourself back up again. Oh well, at least I came, when I kind of got over the illness, I had renewed energy that I haven't had for a long while, which is bizarre. You enjoyed my change in the yarnscape? Yeah, I thought, see, this has still got to be changed. And also, some of these yarns I did get for the purposes of selling at hobbyrocks.co.uk. If you haven't found it already, ship worldwide. So anyway, some of these yarns I did buy with that purpose in mind, and I just put them in a cubby because I wasn't really ready to upload all the stuff. And I did say as well that when Deramores went under, I was going to put up for sale some of my Deramores yarn, because a lot of people were struggling to find the Deramores yarn that they wanted, and I will never use that Deramores yarn. So I might as well, to be honest, I've used a couple of them, but on one of my tutorials, it was the chevron. One of the chevrons I used it for. Still looking at the phone to see what the messages are though, so just bear with me while I look. Popped to Hobbycraft and they have lovely soft new Wendy yarn. Didn't buy any. Well, thank you for being loyal. To be honest with you, I will check out the new Wendy. Wendy, when they first went under, I did mourn the loss of Wendy, because there was a few yarns that I absolutely loved. One of which was the Noir that I did show on my Yarnscape video. And that yarn has the most gorgeous gold glitz, but it has a black and the colour. So the one I really love the most is the dark blue. There was some others beautiful colours. Well, that alone was Wendy for me. And then when they went under, James C. Brett bought them out. I bought all their, lines and back stock and all that stuff. And they just took it down to the barest kind of, and they did the same with Peter Pan. They offloaded all the Robin, which I loved. There was some Robin that I absolutely loved and still do and wish they'd bring back. But they decided to try and rebuild those brands so that they've got that, because they've got good reputations and they didn't want to lose that by making them, cheap brands. They wanted to kind of keep the integrity of the brands. So they are bringing things back gradually and bringing new stuff in. And I have noticed, there was one place I did notice had some really, really nice Wendy yarn. But the thing that I will say about Wendy, at the time I was looking, everything had wool in it. And I wanted some like really good acrylic yarns. I don't always want a wool content, because not everybody can have wool. Excuse me, I don't know why, but probably because I just had egg that burnt my hand. And it's kind of, hi, Bus Life. Wow, it is a long time no see. Wow, wow, wow. And I've got a little channel again. I've got a little new channel. It's kind of back to the 1,000 subscriber mark. It's been taking me a while to get to the 1,000, I have to say, because it is a bit of a slow burner channel. Well, it has, funnily enough, Hobby Rocks channel. I did start that to go hand in hand with the business Hobby Rocks, but it didn't go flying off in the stratosphere. And I figured, why did, that's not maybe the best thing you could have done. You were showing it on Crochet Rocks anyway. So I switched that Hobby Rocks channel to doing knitting tutorials. And I've done about 5 or 6, well, maybe 6 or 7 actually, over there now. I do need to do some more. But that's going to be the home of other crafts. So it's what it says on the tin, really, I suppose, hobbies. And you never know, there might be, I could do crochet there, but there's no real reason to, is they've got Crochet Rocks. So, yeah, other hobbies. There will also be, I was going to do this last year, some other bits and pieces that I've got on kind of in the back of my mind, and some of them can go on here. Now, I started a new little feature on here yesterday, and that was reviewing different customer service. And that's a kind of a worldwide thing, isn't it? Because, you know, the customer service that I reviewed the other day was Kurt Geiger. Now, Kurt Geiger sell all over the world, so it kind of can be of interest to everybody. So I was quite, you know, good to them, to be honest. I think it was a good one to start with. But I still haven't heard from my next victim, which will be next store. We'll have to wait and see. Oh, Susanna's still unwell with COVID. Oh, that's a shame. What yarn is the rainbow wrap? What? That review did make you laugh. I tried to make you laugh. That yarn, I believe, was called Roll With It, but I don't remember what the colour was, because I do have two other varieties of Roll With It. I have one that is all blues and one that is all pinks, but it goes to magenta. Perfect for my channel. But I should have got this beautiful rainbow one with that orange. The orange really does do it for me, in that where it goes into those pinks. But for some reason, when I made this, look how perfect that worked out. It actually did. Where one cake left off, the other one started, and it was just mirror imaged, and it was perfect for this. Absolutely didn't have to manipulate that in any way. It just came out that way. But it was Roll With It. I'll have a look and see if I can grab. There we go. Yeah. So here's Roll With It. That's the blue one I've got, and I've got one that's similar but pink, but it's made by Red Heart. So if you didn't know, that's the yarn anyway. So it's beautiful, really, really lovely. Roll With It Sparkle. So that one as well is Roll With It Sparkle, but I can't remember what it was called. And I just wish that I was able to find more of it. I haven't looked too hard, but I should. Can't wait for the EDF one. Might be lengthy. If I was to actually go into every detail, it won't be, because I'll have to cut that long story short. Your channel stalled out after your surgeries, and they gave us a curveball with a pair of chickens we were given that turned out to be an endangered breed of chicken. So now you're conservators. Wow. Now that would be good to make the channel, wouldn't it? It reminds you of Hayfield Spirit. It does, but it's got glitz. See, I could make it. I've got Hayfield Spirit. And this yarn is Papatia, the one that I'm making it with the second time. Now, Papatia is up here, but and it is very similar to Hayfield Spirit. But the only thing I will say is, because it is very similar to Hayfield Spirit, I feel like the striping will be more like this rather than like this, which works so much better. But obviously this orange part is only that way because it's got two lots, whereas this has got one. And some of the colours, as you can see, had more. So obviously there was more of the mauve, and then there was less of the blue, but more of the green. Do you see what I mean? It kind of, but luckily there was a lot of orange. So there was two lots side by side of the orange. Anyway, I've kind of figured out the pattern. The next stage is getting it done. Perhaps I would have been better off doing it with this, wouldn't I? I love it. I only had two cakes of each, so that was 2 cakes of this one. What's the grammage and all that on this? It's a 4 weight, which is, it doesn't feel like a 4 weight, and it feels more like a 3 weight. Looks more like a 3, doesn't it? Don't you think? Doesn't seem very 4 weight to me. I think there's a real thin line, fine line between what is a 3 and it's a 150 gram ball cake. So yeah, I feel like sometimes what is considered 4 to me isn't. It really isn't. And other times what is considered a 3 really isn't. So it's just kind of how you kind of, well, how it feels to you, really. You're still trying to crochet as much as possible. Um, 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 um. Yeah, chunks of colour. I think that's what sets that one off. I do love a bit of sparkle too. Yeah. As you probably can tell. But you know, ice yarn. So if you get like Hayfield Spirit in that Spring Dawn, is it called Spring Dawn? But that one that's really beautiful and really lovely rainbow, they do a Magic Glitz version of it, and it's identical. So I just think it's all the same yarn, you know. So the Papatia that I've got up there is by another name, Hayfield Spirit, which, you know, you might find, I don't know, if you go over to Hobby Rocks, you might find Papatia could be cheaper than the Hayfield Spirit, or the other way around, depending on which was on special at the time that I got it. Because, you know, they do sometimes, not often, give us specials. Hi, Gwen. Welcome. So, everybody, I'm out of practice. Don't forget the thummies. The derms. So what have you all kind of, apart from raising chickens that are endangered, I'd love chickens, personally. What have you all been up to? When the kids were little, they used to have this thing about how they wanted us to have a goat, some sheep, and some chickens. Like basically a little small holding, and they wanted that. They would have loved it. And if we had our head screwed on back then, we probably would have bought somewhere like across the road from here where they've got all that. But we didn't really have our head screwed on that well, and we ended up in a concrete jungle town. So we couldn't have chickens. We could, but, you know, neighbours wouldn't have liked it very much. But we could have chickens here. We could have them at the back. We'd make a little coop and a run and everything else, and it'd be fine. But the thing that puts me off is because it is a garden rather than a field, you know. If I had more land, you could do that. But because it's a garden, I feel it would attract flies and possibly undesirable rodents and things like that. In a small, it's not small, but it is. I suppose if it was different, set out differently as well, it would be near to the yarn room, the yarnavan. Sorry, it's called a yarnavan. It would be near there too, so I wouldn't really want the sort of smell that could be associated with animal drop-ins. So personally, if I had a bigger area, I would have had maybe a pig and a couple of sheep, some goats, a llama, or definitely a llama or two. I would have loved that, but we didn't really buy that and we didn't end up with it. So, Clarissa, hi. I'm having a wonderful day so far. Thank you. How are you? Hope you are too. Nearly finished Sophie's Universe. Wow, I bet that was a mission. You're moving at the moment, heading to the mountains of Virginia to go raise your chickens. Hopefully boost the numbers since you have a new mated pet. Oh, wow. When I hear that the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, I do feel like you're going to have some beautiful, absolutely gorgeous views, aren't you? It's just going to be breathtaking. And all that ozone, it'd be beautiful and lovely lifestyle. Good at guarding the flock. Sounds right. I think many of my nieces and nephews have been frightened off by various fowls over the years. You know, geese hate my son for some reason. My eldest son and geese. They don't have good repartee. I say, oh yeah, honestly, you only have to go near one and it starts honking at him. It's like they put the word out amongst all geese. Don't let him near. Just honk at him and make yourself big. Just get rid of him. You know, that isn't my arms wobbling. It's my. I haven't got that big a bingo wing. Looks it, doesn't it? I don't normally do these kind of sleeves, but it's got tightness, so I kind of forgive it. Plus, what I like about that tightness is if I want to make it a 3/4 length, I can do that and it just flops over it and you can't really see. But obviously I thought I needed to clarify when I did that yes, there are bingo wings there, but they're not this big. Okay, just to, for the record. You don't like geese, they don't like Paul, that's for sure. They really, really do not. And swans hate my nephew and niece. Swans tried to attack them when they were kids. It was their fault, really. I suppose they just encroached too much on their space. But my mum had to go defend the kids against the swan. My money was on my mum. You don't know, she was a fierce woman. But not that she was ever abusive to me or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. She was just the one to have in a fight, even with a swan. Oh, that's nice. It's lovely, isn't it? I'd love, the kids when they were little would have loved that. In fact, they would have loved to have visited across the road. They've got horses, and they have. I don't know if they've got chickens. Did have a turkey. Dogs. They have everything over there. Not so much now. But yeah, I think if I'd met Gary when I was younger, his mum had horses and everything and dogs, and possibly could have gone in that direction, which would have been great. But Gary often thinks he would love to have like a little stable now. Geese. Yeah, geese are. It's funny, isn't it? And you can't even knit with them or crochet with them, which is terrible, isn't it? You can't even shear them. You can eat them though. That's I suppose that's the only saving grace. And eggs, of course. Like goose eggs. I love a goose egg. When I showed them a little while ago, so this, that thing, that spring fling. When I did that, they said, "What's your favourite thing about spring?" And I just that day got some goose eggs. I went, "These are." And soon as spring arrives, they appear in the shops, well, near us, because we live near farms, and you got these eggs, and they're like this big. And the years before, I'd shown them side by side with a chicken egg, but I didn't do it that time. And some of the comments were, "I wouldn't mind seeing how big that is up against a chicken egg." Well, they're like that big, and then a chicken egg's like that big. So, they're about 4 times as big, I'd say. 3 or 4 times. Yeah, huge, but they're gorgeous. Goose eggs are absolutely lovely. Even though goose are not... Julie, hi! Wow, good. I'm so glad you made it. Don't forget the thumbing. I'm so glad you all came. I just really need this channel to build up some watch hours, because I've now got my 1,000, but my watch hours are poor. Really poor, because they've only been sort of short videos, and quite a lot of my videos were shorts. I used to make something called Eat My Shorts, and it was it was really just jokes. Oh, I'm really hoping that doesn't get in the way of the chat. Am I still visible? Why would that come up on both? Bear with me a sec. Let me just... Right, now I've said... let me just... I'm hoping I haven't messed up now. Skip trial. Right. Oh, thank you, Julie. So let me know, am I still okay? I've not frozen, and I've not gone without any kind of voice. Just tell me, am I okay? Still watching? No. Hang on. I just need the phone to stop, basically. Right, let's see. Am I still okay? I'm okay, yay! That's all right then. Terry! You had ostriches. 24 chickens to one ostrich egg. Yeah, I've seen an ostrich egg. I did once. I think they had them in Tesco's. There was a time, Clarissa, hello. There was a time in Tesco where they wanted to have all this exotic stuff, and there were alligator burgers. You seriously, right? And you know, now the most exotic thing you're finding is like haggis or something. But then you could get a kangaroo burger, you could get, you know, anything. And at one point they had this gigantic ostrich egg. I'm sure that I remember seeing it. It was huge, but that might beat me. A goose egg I can eat one of, but I don't think I could eat any more. Well, no, I suppose I could. If it was slightly larger, I'd be okay. See, when I'm doing low carb, Gary thought of this, and because I love goose eggs, it's like we got them, and suddenly I thought, oh, can't dip bread in it anymore. So he grilled me loads of bacon and made it slightly crispy. So I said, dip my bacon into the goose egg, and that's what I do now if I'm a low carb. I dip my bacon in. Gorgeous, absolutely. But you know, obviously, if I'm not low carb in, then it would be bread. But I really do not. I shouldn't eat it. But you know, I was quite ill recently. I had this awful stomach bug that went round, and Gary had it for 24 hours. Michael had it for 24 hours. Me and Gemma suffered, and Mike said, maybe it's just a woman thing. Like, if you're a woman, you have it worse. And I said, no, I think it's an immune system thing, because Gemma has a weakened immune system, and so do I. Mine was because of my cancer surgery. Although I didn't have chemo or anything like that, I had the lymph nodes removed, and 49 of them to be exact. So if I have any infections, they take a while to go, and I don't fight things quite as well. So that's why, for me, it lingered a bit too long. So I came off of the low carb because it's really impossible when you want to just, because you know your stomach is dodgy, you know you've got to eat bland food. So when it comes to low carb, there isn't anything bland. You know, you can't just say, I'm just going to eat a bit of toast. Can't do it. So I came off it, and I did. The first thing I ate was just toast. And then the next kind of day, I had some more toast and some croissants and things like that. Kept it quite bland. And then we had potato, because again, bland food. So that, yeah, I kind of eased my way in, but now I've got to cut that out again. This is my last day. Tomorrow I'm going back to low carb. The reason I've got a last day is because Gary decided he felt bad for me and bought me Easter egg. Oh God, I've got to eat that. Seriously. Only like small ones, but yes, got to get them out the way first, you know, before I get back on it. It's great seeing you too. You got to head out. Oh, got to turn the eggs in the incubator and start breakfast. Well, that's great. Thank you for coming. I really have missed you. Oh, every time I look away, all I see is my face. Went on the hunt for my red heart roll with Sparkle, and it's in Magic, and can only find it in stock online anyway on Your Inspirations for $8.99. I think I got it at Joann's. That's where I bought it, and it was on offer. So that's what made me, because it was an offer. I don't know if it was the end of something. So I really, really, really wish that I'd got more, you know, at the time. But I don't know what it was called. That's the only thing. I never have the yarn band now to kind of look and never keep them. And can't remember what name it was. Animal House Crocheting with Donna. Hello. Can I have high cocoa content chocolate? You're doing keto just now, done 2 weeks, and you feel amazing. That is great. I'm not really keen on dark chocolate. That's the only thing. So if Gary were to do low carb, he could eat that. He would love it because he likes it anyway. But for me, I'd rather not. And I used to make my own. I used to make cocoa bark, And you do that with coconut oil and cocoa powder and sweetener. And then I used to put like one of those little, you know, those, like you get a takeaway, you get them plastic ones with the plastic lid. I used to line that with cling film, like one of those, pour it in, and then put it in the freezer to set. You keep it in there, and then you get it out just before you want to eat it. And as you do eat it, it melts. So it will go, it doesn't really melt to a liquid state again, but it is very melty. And it tastes like Bounty, but it makes you feel very sick if you eat too much of it, because it's oil, basically. But it is quite nice. And it does satisfy that little chocolate craving if you get it. But to be honest with you, in the old days when I did low carbing, I used to make a chocolate mousse. I used to make pancakes. A really lovely cake that I used to make, King of Cakes. And can't have any of that anymore because I can't have dairy. So the butter's gone, the cream is gone, the cheese is gone, anything that tastes good's gone. So now it's just basically basic foods, maybe add nuts. And I could try, if I do try any of these things, I've got to try and find non-dairy substitutes, which are not going to be easy because they're carby. That's the only trouble with them. Peanut butter on celery. Never tried that. I'm not a big fan of celery because it goes a bit stringy. It gets stuck in between your teeth, and I find that really difficult. You know, I've started. If I have mushrooms now, I peel them because I find the skin will go in between my teeth and I cannot get it out. And then whatever I try and fish it out with gets stuck in there at the same time. So where I had this really thin piece of skin, now I've got a bit of fingernail as well, or a bit of toothpick as well as. So I've given up with that. I know I do floss, but you know, it's trying to find the right banjo and the right angle to get in. So anyway, yeah, I even peel those because I don't like things that are stringy in any way, and that skin things can get stuck. I'm not very good with that, and I'm having trouble with my S's again, guys. Only because I'm eating chocolate and stuff I shouldn't. But as of tomorrow, that's gone. You can blame Gary. He bought me caramel mini eggs, and I love those. So that I've got to eat them before I start. He also bought me some hot cross buns because we were doing bland. They're not bland. I think he doesn't understand that things that have got spice in them and currants are not necessarily bland. But obviously I don't need the bland anymore. But he bought those. You know what he thinks, right? As soon as Gary gets the inkling that the diet's off for the day because, you know, I can't really do it while I'm getting over this. Good. Right, I'm going to buy some chocolate, I'm going to buy some biscuits, I'm going to buy some hot cross buns, going to buy this, going to buy that, we're going to have this for dinner. And you don't just buy like a few eggs for a day. They'll last a week, you know, and he'll buy biscuits for the week. And he'll say, you can't really go back on it tomorrow because you got all this. You didn't need to buy all that, did you? You know what I mean? That's Gary. And he kind of kills my diet. But the minute he thinks, oh, the diet's off, she can't eat that at the moment, off he goes to the shop. He's terrible. He's a very fattening man. Just when you was going to ask for the recipe on Diet Rocks. I haven't done Diet Rocks for a while, but obviously now that the diets are starting, I might do it. And the King of Cakes I might do because I did find a dairy substitute to cream, and it's made with coconut cream. And at first I thought this is going to be disgusting because a lot of stuff is. But I opened it one day and I had the cream on something, and honestly, gorgeous. But the only bugbear is going to be if I look and there's more calories, or sorry, carbs in it than I would like. But to be honest, cream has carbs. So there is a trade-off there, isn't there? But I might try. I liked that recipe so much, I will probably do it. It's made with almond, I can't say flour, meal. because they don't really make flour. They probably do now, but back when I used to do it, it was ground almonds. I used to make it with that, and it has, when you eat it, a kind of a Bakewell flavour. I'm really selling this, aren't I? It does, and what I used to do is I used to make a big one because it comes up, it's about this thick, and I used to make a big round cake, and then I would cut it in eight, I think, yeah, 8 pieces, and then I would freeze it, and it doesn't take long to thaw out when you want one. And what I used to do is to get a wedge out, and I used to get diabetic jam, which was strawberry flavour, like Stut or one of those others, and I used to spread that thinly over it and put cream on it, and it was like having a Bakewell. It was just amazing. You can have it with kind of low carb custard as well, if you can make that, or plain. It was just beautiful. So I will try and make that, because it is astonishingly good, and I did used to love it. But I'm really sad that I can't have cheese now. Out of all of the cheeses, it's turning into, I started off talking about crochet, now I'm talking about diet, and it's all of my other channels coming in. But I forgot what I was saying now. No, it's gone out my head. What was I going to say? No, oh, cheese, yeah. The lowest lactose cheese is Edam. So I have had the odd bit of Edam. Doesn't upset me too much. So if I do need to have cheese, then that's going to have to be the way forward, is a little bit of Edam. Not the best flavour. I love Monterey Jack cheese, and I love sharp cheddar. Not really strong, but one that's just got that lovely cheddary flavour. And if anyone ever invents a vegan cheese that is actually like really good cheese, and they are going to become multi-millionaires. I wish I had the wherewithal, I would do it. Your man's exactly the same. 3 kilos of jelly beans. That's Gary. Not for jelly beans though, but he loves pick and mix, especially snakes. He's got, he actually got from Victoria and Paul for Christmas a big tub, like one of those catering packs that you can get for shops, and they've got all the sweets, and they got one full of snakes for Christmas off of them, as well as his other presents. Can you see my perfume collection? I will show you. The Hodgepodge channel. Could be. Never give up on your cheese. I can't help it. I have poor digestion issues. Let's just say, if I don't give up on the cheese, I'll have cramps and all sorts of horrible symptoms. So I can't really do it, unfortunately. I would love cheese. Cauliflower cheese was one of my favourite go-tos on the low-carb diet. Gary makes amazing cauliflower cheese. Yeah, but all the cream and the cheese, can't have it anymore, but I will try my best to find substitutes. But I've got to start induction again now after the chocolate and buns. Yeah, and Gary, he should come with a warning. And I should never give him an inch, because you know what happens. He'll just go and buy 3 kilos of jelly beans. So basically, this channel is kind of a hodgepodge, but it is more anything that's lifestyle issues, anything that's not yarn related and stuff like that tends to end up on it. So I've got some YouTube help videos. I started off with those in the beginning. I've done it for a while. I thought I heard a knock at the door then. Was it my foot? I don't know. I don't think it was a knock. It might have been the cat. Yeah, so that's on there. Anything like that, like even things that show you how to do the thumbnails. I'm quite famous for my thumbnails. And back in the early days, Madonna and Linda, just a crochet sister, used to say, how do you do your thumbnails? Can you do me a thumbnail? So I would do that. And I thought, oh, I'll do a video and show how to do the thumbnails and how to do the little brand marking. When you hover over it, it says subscribe, you know, that one. How to do the brand. But I have to check that it's all still current, because sometimes YouTube will change. I think mine are still current. And how to kind of do lighting on a budget, because it's really, you know, there are really cheap ways of making sure that you've got your lighting right, rather than have to buy rigs. Excuse me, it's that Coke. I'll have not to do it anymore. You love the out and abouts? Yeah, I haven't done any of them for ages. You know, last summer, I could have done loads and loads of out and abouts. But a really good summer in a way. But I don't know, maybe it's because I was not great after my surgery and it took ages to get on my feet. I don't know, but didn't seem to do the out and abouts. But this year I will do some more of those. Definitely do out and about videos. I did a few, like when we went to things like the Battle of Britain air show and stuff like that. But I prefer the ones that are like nice walks around here. And we actually went, you remember that jousting thing? We went to Leeds Castle, and that gave us tickets for a year. But, oh, you know, we'll come back, we'll film, do the out and abouts here. We'll show the castle, we'll show the grounds. We're not been back once. Not once. And all those times when you're bored. But, you know, we haven't had the weather really. This kind of winter's been really wet. Just checking. Lucy, hi. Working and lurking, good to see you. If I've missed anybody, sorry, and don't forget the thummies. So I don't know how long I've been on. I'll try and limit it so that you don't get bored with seeing me. But I will do more on here, because obviously I do need to get those watch hours. And thank you for everyone, especially you, Julie, who mentioned it, that would run the playlist. So I do have one on this channel called All My Videos. And it's what it says, basically, all of them. So if that's the one, that's the one you need to plump for. All my videos, and it will just run the lot. More burpages coming my way, I guess. Oh, maybe I need to bring in something that's not fizzy. I did think about it, but I haven't really got. Gary bought this really nice drink actually. It was in a carafe-shaped bottle, and it was like Malibu. All you needed to do was add your own Malibu, and you had a really nice drink. But I can't. Del Simon, I think it was. Really nice. Don't know what it's called. 42 minutes, really. Oh, thank you, Tiffany. You're so sweet. Thank you very much. It doesn't seem that long. You know, when I do the crochet videos, I suppose because I'm focusing on that, it seems like a long video when it's not always. But this has flown by because I'm yakking away. Yakking away. So at least I didn't have a bad dream last night. I've been plagued with those this last few days. I don't know if that was the virus that, you know, things were playing on my mind or not. But I had some, they were disturbing really, not bad dreams. But I also did a lot of telly watching, so I suppose that might have been it. Watched a few serial killer things. Not that I dreamt of serial killers, but yeah, I watched Waco the other day. There's a new show on Netflix about Waco. Previously unseen footage and stuff from that. That was quite interesting. I blitzed that and watched it in one night. And then there was one about the Moors murderers that I watched. Weird people, aren't they, really? And I actually went to visit somebody once. I was only talking to Mike about this the other day. That I'd never been inside a prison. And I was really curious. And somebody said that they were going to visit a friend. So would I like to go with them? And I thought, oh, okay. Yeah, why not? So I went in to visit this person. I didn't know they were. And funny enough, they were called Tracy. So it was an eye-opener, to be honest with you. But as soon as I got in there, I knew all the staff. It was kind of weird. And I used to work with them. Well, I worked with one of them, and then I worked with another one in another job. And it's like, oh, hello. Oh, hello. It's kind of like, they must have thought, how do you know her? And I don't. Just want to be nosy, basically. See what it's like in there. But it was odd. It was really odd. I kind of, when we first got in, this friend that I was with, I didn't know that well, but she went and bought loads and loads and loads of sweets. And then while we were here, this Tracy just ate them all, every single one of them. And then she went and got more, and then she ate them. And I thought, how can anyone eat that amount? And she said, oh, you can't take them back with you, so you've got to eat them now. And I thought, I still wouldn't be able to eat that many. Not even Gary, not even Julie's other half could do that with his monster great pile of... I love jelly beans, I have to say. Oh, thank you very much. I do appreciate it. I really do. Don't forget the thummy. That's a good point. Your ex is a prison officer. They have a cushy life. You'd be amazed. It must. It depends where you are, I suppose. But if you know, when you see footage of life in prison, it must be. There must be scary moments. There must be dodgy moments, depending on what prison you're in. I mean, I used to know the guy across the road from me used to be a prison officer. Well, he still is, just not across the road from me anymore. And one of Paul's friend's dads, he was a prison officer. And he said something once when we first met, because we used to meet him at football, because that's when it was one of Paul's football team's dad. And he said, oh, yeah, I'm a prison officer. And I said, oh, are you? And he went, yeah, I do the strip searches, love my job. And I just, it was just the way he came out with that. And just like this vision of him loving peering up buttholes, you know. It's just, what? He went, yeah, I love my job. I absolutely love it. It's just an odd thing to say, I think. And your daughter's a prison guard. And your sister used to be a nurse. So there's lots of things. Yeah, can you imagine saying that though? No, I love it. I do the strip searches. I love my job. So, right. Don't shake hands with him. That sort of thing. I just thought it was a funny thing to say. But yeah, I had a woman I used to work with. Funnily enough, I did my training with her for the ambulance service, and her name was Lisa. And she said, oh, she's going to be a prison officer. She was always off sick, Lisa, with her back. And I thought, how can you go off sick working in the ambulance control room when all you do is sit in the chair and you're right on the computer? Yet you're going to be a prison officer. Don't see it myself. Well, she did. She went for this job. She got through. She actually got through the selection process. I thought there's nothing wrong with her, really. Got through the selection process. Once she got the job, off sick all the time. Ended up off sick all the time. Just a different organisation to go sick at, really. Can't find the thummies. I think if you've got like that little cross and you close the chat down, then you should find the normal buttons, and then there should be a heading that says live chat, and you just click that and it comes back up again. That's what I think. Oh, yeah. See, now, Broadmoor's another kettle of fish, isn't it? She's been punched by that. See, that's what I mean. You know, knives, shivs, whatever they call them, shanks, I don't know. I think shiv is Australian, you know. I only know that from watching Cell Block. You know, I'm not really like... I'm not worldly wise in the terms, but I just think, you know, I know it's a shank in our TV dramas, but a shiv in Australian drama. So I learn all my terminology by watching the box. Tell you, very informative. Do I look red to you now? Look, I've got red. A shiv. Gotta love the Australian soaps, haven't you? Especially Cell Block. I mean, the first one with B. Yeah, and Doreen. She has a collection of shanks. I bet. You got some. You tried Stench. Got some funny. We need to be more on the ball with this, girls. If we're gonna make stench the word, we've got to be a bit more like own it. We've got to own that stench. For those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, if you didn't watch my chat the other day, it was about how there are some people who are really cool out there, and all they've got to do is use a word and it becomes the word, you know, like word, or you know, he's bad, meaning he's good, or that's sick, meaning it's really good. So I decided that the word stench was going to mean a really good smell from now on. You know, like instead of, oh, that's a stench, it'd be, oh, that's a great stench. You know, we're going to try and make the stench mean good smell. So we've got to own it. This is a test of how cool and much of an influencer I am. Oh dear, you got to laugh, haven't you, really, at life? You do, you have to, or you cry. It's true. It's very true. So yeah, I am thinking of placing an order for some new stock of some sort soon, but I don't know what to get. Now, I did have the chance to get some Addy knitting machines, but my first foray into said Addy knitting machine experience has not been great. So I don't know if I want to go there. So I don't know whether I want to go for accessories, like broadening my horizon with them, or just getting some more yarn, or sticking with what I've got and just expanding the ranges a little bit. Hi, Jane. We need to post stench on Facebook. And yeah, that's it. Yeah, we'll just have to say, yeah, it's really stench. I don't even say what stench. It's good. It's really good. It's a good smell. Stench. Should we just have it as a good smell, or that it means really good? Because, you know, words that mean that something's good tend to sort of build more momentum, don't they, if you know what I mean? Do I look bald again? I'm kind of wondering. No, I'm not so bald. That's the trouble. My hair's becoming so blonde, it's transparent. I need it cutting. It's the ends. It's nice and straight at the moment, but from about here, it really does need it. I need a hairdresser to come and see me. Really, I need someone to live nearby that's a good hairdresser, but they're all so far away, and I don't really like going to the salon. I always get someone else, and that's totally stench idea. Yeah, see, you got it. I said the bacon thing, fried smell, stench. You've got to say it like stench, you know. I've got to make it like, hey. Remember Fonzie? I've been really on a nostalgia kick today. Like my Rocks chat this morning was full of nostalgia. It started with watching that Moors murderers thing, and there was these old deers on the pavement as they were driving them to court. And they were like, "Oh, you should kill him, just kill him," you know, and they should let the father at him. That's what they should do, let the father at him, and things like that, you know. And I'm just thinking, oh my God, I can remember people talking like that. I can really actually, and it's the way they speak, you know, that the terms, the actual phrasing of the way they speak is just so different now. But it really was like that. And I've seen a lot of things where it shows footage of when maybe I was 4 or 5 or 6 years old playing, and then the things that I would have to wear at the time, and then you see kids out wearing those clothes playing and playing on the same toys I played with and stuff like that. I've been watching so many things that have brought all this nostalgia, and I often think, you know, my kids probably don't realise that's what the life was like when I was that age. They probably think of it as some kind of ancient newsreel, you know. Well, I suppose it is. But, you know, I was well like watching things where you got Aberfan, you know, and you see the footage at the time when I watched it on The Crown and stuff like that. And you, oh my God, that's when I was a kid, you know. It's just crazy, crazy, crazy. And I watched that Belfast, and that really did bring it home. What shows do I like on BritBox? Just signed up. I don't actually have it, but I don't know what's on there, to be honest with you. But I've got Mike watching Luther. Do you like Luther? Absolutely. There's a few things in it that really not right. Like there's this lunatic on the loose, and people just stand around and let him kind of kill him, whereas don't attempt to run or disarm him in any way. So that, I don't know, you know, I said to Mike, well, maybe, you know, some people wouldn't be galvanised into action. There might be some that would just be rooted to the spot, but it happened a couple of times. But there was one line in that I could not cope with, and it was, I don't remember the character's name, but it was the sex worker, and she was staying with him for a while, and it was morning, and he said to her, "How'd you feel?" She said, I do my very best impression of like a sweat. Got it wrong straight away. Like a freshly squeezed zit. Then she said it just like that, like a freshly squeezed zit. And I rewound it. I played it again, like a freshly squeezed zit. And I thought, nobody says that. Nobody ever would say they felt like a freshly squeezed zit. Nobody. Wouldn't happen, you know. I can understand when these shows are written in America by Americans and they think this is what English people would say. Like, we used to have that a lot. It's not the, you know, Mary Poppins, you know, we're not Dick Van Dyke, but you know what I mean? You'd understand if they don't know this is what we say, this is how we would say it, we would call that person this, not that, you know. And we would, you know, they don't know the things, the terminology we'd use, but that's not an excuse for this one. It's in England and it's written by an English or British person, and nobody would say like a freshly squeezed it ever, ever. I just, but I love Luther anyway. Sound like I'm an alien. That's what she sounded like, though. You watch it. You get to that part. What? How do you feel? Like a freshly squeezed it. She spoke like that. She was. I love Luther too, but yeah, that was stupid. It's totally stench. It is. It is. So you're getting it, guys. You're getting it. Haven't seen it, but not watched it. You think the guy just died? No, no, no. That's Broyles. That's he's American, and he was in. I'll tell you what, Idris better not have died. I love Idris Elba. No, he's not died. You're thinking of the thin guy, aren't you? That was what was his name? Wasn't it Lloyd something or something Lloyd? Don't remember his name. You can't see anyone saying that. Yeah. I don't remember her name. I know Alice was his muse, if you like. Let me just see. Luther. I don't know what season it was. Cast. Let's see if I can find her. Show more. Is it you? It's going to take me a while, I think, because they don't look anything like you imagine when you see them like looking normal. It's not her. Not her. Is it her? Let's have a look. She's Welsh. No, I don't think it's her. Right, okay. We'll try something else. Luther, sex worker. Now see. There we go. Jenny Jones. It gotta be her. It has to be her. Yep, that's the one. Get off. Oh, that's the girl. They walked through out of the building, and she stayed the night at his place to keep her safe. And he said, "How do you feel?" And she said, "Like a freshly squeezed it." Like, yeah. That's what she said. That's the girl you'll be looking for, in Luther, that said that. Anyway, where are we? Royals. The Royals. I don't know what Royals is. Yep. That's her anyway. That's the one. Yeah, bit odd that one, and but yeah, I did really love Luther, but there was the movie came out recently, and we went to see it, and there was a few what they call Easter eggs in that, and they either nod to his next role, or they're red herrings regarding his next role. So I don't know. Enough time has gone by now. I said I wasn't going to say them, but do you want me to? Or do you want me to leave it and see if you can guess, if you're going to watch it? It is a good movie. Fabulously far-fetched, but yeah, great. It's either you got him mixed up with the guy who played in John Wick and who was Lieutenant Broyles in Fringe. You either got mixed up with him or the guy that was Black Panther, because he died. Have you noticed how many celebrities have died in their 60s recently? It's ridiculous. I mean, yesterday Paul O'Grady, and he did a heart attack before, but so many that are way too young to die have been dying recently. Mike says he thinks it's something to do with the COVID jab. I bloody hope not, 'cause I've had them all. Lance Reddick, the guy who died. That's right, yep, and he was in The Wire. Tell you. Okay. So in the movie, he said, he went into a bar, and they said, what can I get you? And he sort of like looked round. It was a bit odd, bit sophisticated in there. And he said, I don't know, what you got? And he said, martini? And he said, no, I'll have a beer, right? So there was a nod to the possibility that they've always associated him with Bond. Asked him if he wanted a martini, seemed a bit odd. Of all the drinks in the world, they come up with me on martini. And at the end, he's recruited us to a certain place. So what's his next role going to be? Is it going to be Bond? Because, you know, I would love to see Idris Elba as blonde. I really blonde. He won't be blonde, but Bond. I would love to see him as Bond. Hi, Grayson. Welcome. Don't forget the thummies. So yeah, there was a few. I can't remember the others, but there was the biggest one was the martini. You know, what can I get you? What do you suggest? Martini? No, I'll just have a beer. That sort of thing. You know, just kind of little carrots, or they call them Easter eggs, don't they, in these movies? It just kind of felt that way to me. I think he'd be a great Bond. He would. Although he does walk like that, James Bond. He'd have to work on that. His gait a little bit. I don't know if you've noticed. He does bowl it a bit, but he can work on that. James Bond bowling it. It wouldn't be right, would it? No. So anyway, I'm gonna get off now, and don't forget to watch that. It's really good if you get the chance. It's actually free view now. Is it Netflix? Oh, I think it's Netflix because it was BBC in conjunction with Netflix that did it. So you can watch it for free now on Netflix. So I definitely recommend it. So thanks for coming, and I will do some more. Hopefully, got to get these watch hours up. So thank you to all of you who said you're going to watch all my videos playlist. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you on the next one. Mwah. Thanks for coming. Love you all. Bye for now.